Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Ginja Bo Podcast. This week is a very special week as we are joined not only by me, Bo, and my friend Ginja.
Hello.
But also by a guest, our first guest, which is Violetlilac. Say hello.
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 Air horn sound.
Pew, 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 pew. Yeah. I'll ask the editor if he can add some air horns at the start.
Oh, yes, after I put his name.
Anyway, quickly, some introductions. Of course, please subscribe to Ginja's Twitch page, Ginja _gaming.
Yeah.
And also Violet's page, which is
twitch.tv/Violetlilac.
Cool.
But make sure you follow, don't subscribe because that costs you money.
Oh yeah,
Subscribe
when I say subscribe,
Twitch
I mean
YouTube.
Yeah. Oh well. Anyway, let's get to the good stuff. So, what has everyone been playing?
Violet, what have you been playing since you're the guest? We'll let you go first.
Yeah.
I have, alongside my usual spew of Dead by Daylight and Phasmophobia, I have been playing a lot of Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley. I've been playing Stardew Valley more on stream, just because it's something that I can chill out to. I don't have to get too het up about anything, and it's really nice to be able to sit and see what everyone in the chat is suggesting for me to do, you know, what they want me to name things.
Do you get a lot of backseat gamers?
I don't mind backseat gaming for it though.
I
don't mind backseat gaming because it teaches me more about the game, because everyone else is more experienced than me. So why shouldn't I welcome anything that I can learn from them? You know.
That is an interesting. Well, I guess for games like Stardew Valley, it makes sense. It's more like when you get backseat gamers for stuff like I don't know, fucking story-driven games where it's like, oh, do that if you want to get that and that, and you're like, man,
I know,
don't trash my experience. But no, interesting. You're the first one actually I've heard that enjoys the backseat gamers.
I think that it also shows you can learn a lot more about everyone in your chat through knowing how they play the game. See, they make choices that I wouldn't. You know, they want to be friends with people that I wouldn't. They want to form relationships with other people that I wouldn't. And it's nice to know, you know, what that makes them as a person. You know, it's just another way that you can get to know and connect with your community.
Yeah.
I find if ever I play a game where I want other people to make the choices for me, they always go for the evil ones, which scares me a little bit. It's like, oh, do I very easily save this person or kill them? Everyone's like, kill them immediately.
Well, yeah, of course. It's like, it's the most fun thing to be a dick to everyone.
Yeah.
Especially when you're in the backseat.
Occasionally I get people being like, actually, no, we'll do the nice thing. And I'm like, alright, finally. But no, mostly people immediately go for the bad options.
Yeah.
Like in Dragon Age, when the boy gets possessed and his mother offers to step up in his place, everyone was like, oh no, we should go make it so that the mother doesn't have to kill him.
Oh yeah,
doesn't have to die. And then in the end, because of all the decisions we made, the mother did end up having to die anyway.
Yes.
So all that effort was
I went to
pointless.
so much effort to try and save this little boy, and then but I made another decision where it's like, oh no, we're gonna choose the soldiers over the mages. Because we did that, we couldn't get the mages to help us save the little boy, so we did have to kill the mum.
So that was a whole waste of time.
I mean, not entirely. I had to go
no, of course.
do this mission anyway, but it meant that now, instead of being able to did actually do what people originally wanted me to do, I had to kill her.
Oh well.
Big sad. I mean, my options were kill her or kill the kid, so I thought I'd go for the nicer of the two.
Yeah, just kill the kid.
Yeah, just kill the kid.
Misery, then he doesn't have to
be young.
Then I actually went. I went for the really evil option. I let the demon keep possessing him, but she's not going to show up again for another couple of years, so no one knows he's still possessed.
Lol.
Oh.
It meant I got some cool bonuses. I forgot I did that actually. So I went for the really evil option.
So you're on at us for making you evil, and yet you're the one that made that evil choice in the end.
At that point, there was no one else in the chat, so I made the decision myself.
Well, what do you know? You're just a dick. You were just a dick all along, Ginja.
Oh my god. I was going to make a really...
You were the true
joke,
dick all along. But yeah, interestingly, going back to Stardew Valley, my friend who fell in love with Stardew Valley, like, he told me, oh yeah, get it, it's wonderful, it's wonderful. I got it on my computer, and I don't like it that much. I don't know why.
What don't you like? Is there something specific?
I don't know. I got started. I felt... I mean, I know I'm probably not doing things right, but people aren't talking to me a lot. I'm just sitting there waiting for my crops to grow. There's a lot of waiting, which is like... And, I don't know. I need to get back to it.
I think the problem with Stardew Valley is that there's so many different aspects of it that it's so difficult to get a good run on your first run. Like, you won't be good until you've probably done it 2 or 3, maybe 4 times over, because there's so many different things that you have to balance. You know, there's your relationships with other people. You've got to give them gifts. You've got to talk to them every day. You've got to make sure that you find out what they like and what they dislike. You've got to remember their birthdays. You've got to bring something good for all of the events. And so there's the whole relationship aspect. And then alongside that, there's also this whole foraging aspect. There's the farming itself. Then on the 3rd year, you get visited by your grandfather's ghost who judges you on all of your actions.
God.
So it's kind of this big kick in the teeth when you get to your 3rd year. It's like, oh, wait, what? So yeah, it just takes ages to really get into it and to work out how to play it properly, because people go into it thinking, oh, it's just some like little simple farming game, you know, I don't really have to fuss around too much, but there's actually a lot to manage in it. So to play it well, it's a lot of effort. Too much effort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, that's interesting though. I'll have to give it a try again, because I've had a lot of people recommending it, and that's on my big list of stuff I need to go back to. But interestingly, I got a new game. I've tried out a new game, which is on the Switch. I literally brushed off all the dust that was covering my Switch, just sitting there in front of the screen on its dock. And I tried the Fire Emblem 3 Houses.
Okay.
Has anyone of you tried it?
I've not played that Fire Emblem. I've played a few of the others and never got very far in them.
Oh.
I always try and play the hardest difficulty to start with, and also keep everyone alive, and it's next to impossible.
Well, of course it's impossible. It's meant to be like this really hardcore strategy game.
I know.
Where you need to be like a fucking genius to pull it off.
Like a third of the way through one of them on the hardest without anyone dying. I did alright, but I also didn't. I played it a bit. I didn't find it was one of the ones for the 3DS. It was the one where there was like 3 games that were released for it, where it's like you play
the Fates series.
Yeah, where one of the games you play as one faction,
the good guys or the bad guys,
and then you get then there's the version where you can choose to play as any of them or something.
Oh yeah, they did release the version after that. The thing is, I don't know. I enjoy Fire Emblem games. I think bearing in mind I only played Awakening before this one, which is the first one they released on 3DS. I think they're good. I think they're very high strategy. Like you need to be staying if you're playing on the classic mode where your characters actually die, which I don't, because I'm just a wimp. And I'm chicken, and I don't want my characters to die. Because what if my wife who dies? Come on. Who's my character gonna bone? Come on. It's that's the whole point. We all want that medieval anime waifu. No, but all jokes aside, no, I always play on those, and it is like it is a very even without having your characters die, it's still bad for them to die on the new mode because they get kicked out of battle,
and they don't get experience for a while.
And they don't get experience, exactly. So it's bad also in from that point of view. And I don't know, I find them fun. Sometimes they're slightly frustrating if you're not a big brain boy like me, and don't want to invest all your time in thinking, okay, I'm gonna place my character here so he has the advantage with this, and thus I will move my other teammates there, considering they have so and so weapon durability. It's a big game of chess.
I also found, especially when I was playing on the hard difficulty, it wasn't just strategy. It was a lot of RNG, so the random number generators.
Some of it, yeah.
You can't guarantee, if you're lucky, this attack will do this much damage. It's just enough to kill them, or not, and then they're going to kill you instead. So that's why I'd restart the game over and over again, and eventually I'd get lucky enough that this did enough damage, so I'm not going to die. So I was like, I looked up and looked at some guides for it, and they were like, oh yeah, you're going to rely on this. There isn't really a definitive strategy that will guarantee you're going to win.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've never played it I only play it on normal. Yeah. Because I don't want to kill myself after 2 games.
That's fair.
And but there is a bit of RNG, to be fair. I must say, yeah. I don't know. They're fun. I played through Awakening, and I remember that being quite fun because you got all the characters. You get to make your group. Each one has a different skill, and then you get to the really fun part. I thought was that you get all the characters that, like, you can pick which characters romance which, and essentially by making them fight together. Yeah. And if they romance each other, they can have a child that comes back from the future to help them, which I thought that was really, really cool.
That's okay.
I love it.
It's really, really cool because it also, like, the appearance of the child, well, their hair color changes depending on who they've... So basically the child is determined on the female character. Okay. And but their hair color changes depending on the father.
Okay.
So it's really cool because you get to recruit all the children into the group, and it's really, really fun. I must say, Awakening, I recommend. It's a fun game. You probably can get it quite cheap, and it's a good introduction into the Fire Emblem series because it's the first one where you can opt to have your characters not die immediately.
It's just nice.
And so if you want to focus on story, like I did, or on, like, relationships, it's fun. I enjoyed it. I must say it's fun. And the new one seems it's the first one on Switch, and which is you can, like, there's been a massive improvement. Everything looks really cool. The combat, like, the animations are much, much better. And it has a bit of a... I mean, I'm saying this having only played 8 hours of it, maybe a bit more. No, I don't even think more than 8 hours because I've done the first mission and that's it. And it's fun. Like, the animations are good. Oh yeah, and you get... It has a bit of this Game of Thronesy style of thing because you get to pick a house to join at the start of the game. And you get to dive into that, and each house has specific characters, and the fun thing is that you can recruit characters from the other houses and persuade them to join your house. Also, you get to be their teacher, which is fun.
Which house do you go for?
I went for the red house, which is like It's the Black Eagle, which is essentially like the one based on it's one of the three nations, and it's the one based off the Imperial nation. It's quite fun.
To the baddies.
And I don't know, I just chose that one because the leader of the house was a perfect waifu material, honestly.
Of course.
Oh god, being led by your crotch.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, it's an anime game, of course you're gonna. How are you gonna play? Like, come on, all these games. Persona, for example, because we don't talk about Persona enough on our stream. Am I right?
No, of course.
But of
game.
course, you just play Persona for the waifus.
I mean, I'm still annoyed that there's no same-sex options.
That's true, considering it's quite a modern game. Well, it is Japan.
Especially how camp a lot of the male characters in this game are, and how close your relationships get.
With Yusuke, you mean?
Yeah,
how camp
mostly
Yusuke. Well, Yusuke and
also
Akechi.
Half the other characters as well. I mean, come on, even Ryuji as well.
Yeah, to be fair, I'd see Ryuji. He's a bit of a bimbo,
It was
isn't he?
literally every time something happened, it would get a bit erotic, and then all of a sudden he'd be like, "Oh yeah, let's high five to make this straight."
Oh, the straight high five.
And then your character, the main character's just there, just like, especially at the beginning when he used to get Ryuji high fives him. He's like, "What the hell are you doing?"
It's a simple spell.
Yeah, exactly. It is a simple spell. I mean, that's why I'm telling you to play, to continue Persona 5 Royal.
Okay.
Because in Royal, there is some of the homoerotic action.
Oh.
Well, it's not really homoerotic action. It's more like just
homoerotic is hardcore stuff.
Yeah, it's of course there's no hardcore stuff, but there are some funny gay subplots. Well, not subplots. There's some funny gay scenes that you're like, well, I'm glad that's the maximum of representation we get. That and the drag queen and the two gay guys.
Oh, okay. Oh,
the two gay guys that capture Ryuji.
That's just disturbing. The drag queen is hilarious. I love her.
Yeah.
She's just constantly there she's the only reason that like the journalist storyline is in it.
Yeah, because there's the drag queen there.
Yeah, like the journalist herself, she is boring as hell and her perks are terrible. Yeah. So I've done it a bit just to see if it gets more interesting, and it doesn't. But the drag queen's there just being sarky, and it's like, I love it.
Sorry.
Drag queens make everything better.
Oh yeah, definitely. Violet, have you played Persona? Sorry,
I haven't, but I have watched Ginja play.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I've played Catherine, but I've never played Persona.
See, I've never played Catherine, and I'm tempted because I've been told it's good. What was your opinion of it?
I quite liked Catherine. I played it with my ex-partner, and it was it was fun to see the choices that they made. You know, it was an experience that we had bonding, maybe less bonding with each other. You know, seeing how they would react to a certain situation and how the choices they made. But I mean, you know, gameplay, like it's a puzzle game. You know. Yeah. It's just the story's interesting. There's a lot of ways that you can affect it. Yeah. And so it's just a good all round game. It's not, you know, amazing, but it's decent. It's good.
Yeah.
Fun few hours.
Yeah, because I saw it's the guy like the main gameplay is just climbing up of like a thing, don't you like?
Yeah, you climb up blocks, and you've got to like before they fall. And then there are various things that obstacles that you've got to get through, and various kinds of blocks as well. So yeah, it's good, and it's a race. You've got to do it before the timer runs out. Yeah. To beat other sheep up the top.
And that's also by Atlas, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it looked cool. I'll definitely have to give it a look.
It's quite cheap, I think, because it came out ages ago.
Yeah.
I think we picked up our copy for a couple quid from Game a while back.
They have it on literally like every platform, I'm pretty sure. Like I know that it's on Switch, definitely. And
It's on Switch. Oh my goodness.
yeah, I'm pretty sure they released it with I can't remember.
It was it's been released on Switch worldwide this year.
Catherine, what is it called? Catherine Full Body.
Yeah, I've got the wiki page up now as well.
Oh, okay.
I've not played this game either. It does look good though.
Wait, is it on Switch?
Yeah, it says it was released on Switch.
Is it a different? Is Full Body the different?
I think Full Body. It says I've just got Catherine here, and it says it's on Switch.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Wait, Full Body is different because I thought it
Yeah.
was just a game of the year or something like that.
Oh no, Full Body is the publishers.
Oh, okay.
I thought. Oh, okay. Wait, it's not.
It
is Atlas.
Isn't it Atlas?
It's developed by Atlas, but it's got so many different publishers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's got, I'm seeing the list of publishers. There's like 6 different ones.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. I see. Okay. Okay, that's cool. I'll definitely have to give it a look. I know it's really old and and I know it's quite cheap on the I don't know, on any stores. It's on many consoles anyway. So yeah, I'll definitely give that a look. And oh, by the way, bouncing back from last week's episode, where Ginja, you did mention that you were watching Legend of Korra.
Oh no, I never.
I started watching this.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I was going to watch. I never actually.
Oh, you
watched
said you
it.
were actually going to.
No,
Wow.
I watched the first season and a half before, but I was
Hmm.
going to rewatch it and never got around to it. What do you think then, Legend of Korra?
So I've started because I rewatched Book of Fire before watching Legend of Korra.
Yeah.
And I enjoy. Okay, I think season 1 is quite good. I enjoyed it. I enjoy what they did with the series.
Yeah.
That they did they took it through an industrial revolution.
Yeah.
And now you actually have this. It's set basically in the equivalent of the 20s.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. I thought it was very smart how they did it. I think also the character. Okay, the setting as usual is done very well. You can tell it's done by the same creators because they were masters in the original series in Last Airbender in world building, and you can tell like it's a live world where each element still has a place. And I thought it was smart. I got to the start of season 2 and was like, I stopped watching it. I got a bit bored.
Yeah. I don't remember why I stopped watching partway through season 2 because I wasn't enjoying it as much.
Well, the thing is, the plot is solved after season 1. Sorry, Violet, have you ever watched?
I haven't.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest. I could never really get into like that
Avatar.
whole. Yeah, I could never get into Avatar. It was just not really my jam. You know, it's it's not something I really enjoyed.
Fair enough.
But
Fair enough.
you know, each to their own.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, just saying. I thought it was interesting. But I don't know. I'll still have to continue watching it. I have only watched the first season. The thing is, the first season ends with everything being solved.
Yeah, so they have to come up with completely new.
Exactly, like it's a new plot line.
Yeah, which is fair enough.
Exactly, it's fair. But
that was the good thing about Avatar, the original, the Legend of Aang one, is because
Yeah.
it was, even though different things kept happening, there was one overarching problem that they were trying to deal with the whole time. But then the problem with that then is, which is why they kind of had to do Legend of Korra, is once they solved that, because they had 3 seasons dedicated to it, they couldn't really keep going with the series for Legend of Aang, because it was like, okay, we've had this huge, big, world-ending conflict.
oh yeah, definitely.
We can't do anything now unless all of a sudden there's another huge world-ending conflict.
Yeah.
But then Korra had the issue, obviously, is they started with a world-ending conflict, solved it in a season, but then wanted to keep going.
Yeah.
So now they're going to have the problem of we're going to have to keep coming up with new big things that are going to end the world. And it's a lot of series have that problem, especially if they go on for a while. It's like, how do we keep coming up with interesting problems that they're not going to be able to solve really quickly?
Yeah, definitely. Sorry.
I think at some point it just gets to be, flogging a dead horse. And it happens a lot in all shows. You'll get so many offshoots and so many, different storylines that they've managed to work out that at the end the writers just, they have to keep coming up with something more and more extreme because they feel like, it has to top the last story, it has to top the last problem.
Yeah. And some series you can get away with that and you can keep coming up with new things. And it works that time after time there's something new happening, but other stuff it's like, well, now that they've solved this problem, they've gained these powers, they can do this, how are we going to come up with something that they now can't beat?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the main issue with I don't know if you guys have watched Naruto Shippuden mainly.
I've watched a little bit of it. I know it's ridiculously long, isn't it? It goes on forever.
It's needlessly ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I
think that's just put me off even starting, to be honest, because you see the first episode of something, you think, oh, that looks nice to watch. You do a little bit of research on it, you see how long it is, and I can't commit all of my time to this.
Exactly.
There's like several hundred episodes, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's like,
well, a lot of it, first of all, is filler. So you need to watch it. There's literally an entire season which is filler. And second, there's also it changes a lot. So the original series is really, really good. Naruto, the one where he's a child.
Yeah.
And and it's all about, them being ninjas and trying to outsmart their opponents with stealth and whatever. But in Shippuden, they change it a lot, and to the end of the series, it just becomes one of those, it just becomes Dragon Ball Z.
Mm-hmm.
Gigantic transformations, big, huge creatures, attacks that are just a big explosion. It loses its identity, and it's such a shame because it started off really good.
Yeah, it's always hard to go into a show that's been going on for so long, and you see just how many episodes there are, and that the quality, even if the quality to start with is good, and maybe some series get even better, it's not going to stay consistent, and you're going to struggle. But then you're also going to feel like, I need to keep going with this because I know it gets better, or I want to see if it gets better. I'm always reluctant to start series that have so many episodes, even if I really want to watch it. I was reluctant, I was saying last time I started to watch House, I was reluctant to start that because I know it's really good and it's consistently good, but it's 8 seasons with 25 episodes each that are an hour long, and if I start this I want to finish it, but that's a lot of hours of content to watch.
That's true, but then again there's also Friends, which is so many episodes and so many series as well. There's a lot of that is I was about to make a point, I'm so sorry.
To be fair though, something like Friends, it's something most people I think have seen at this point.
I haven't.
Have you not seen it? Oh wow.
I don't like Friends. I tried. I don't like Friends.
The thing is, at least with Friends though, or something, any sort of sitcom with a lot of episodes, they're short episodes that you don't need to fully concentrate on to understand what's going on.
Well, yeah, it's a sitcom.
Yeah.
It's the argument I was saying last week that they're only 20-minute episodes, so you don't have to pay a lot of attention. You could
spend the whole time on your phone or on your Switch or something with a sitcom like that and still know what's going on in the series by the end of it.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, but House is a different kettle of fish, and I absolutely love Hugh Laurie. Yeah. He does an amazing job, and I think some bits do get a little bit dry though. They struggle a little bit with the writing in. I think they switched writers at some point, and it's a very obvious jump.
Mm-hmm.
But they had the same problem where they had to keep coming up with, massively exaggerated storylines, to keep the show going.
Yeah.
So you've probably not got to those bits yet, so I'm not going to spoil them.
I've nearly finished season 3, and I'm already noticing it a bit. Well, for one thing, it's a medical show. It's like, how many diseases can you come up with that you couldn't immediately diagnose at this point?
Yeah.
And then also there's the constant, every so often it's like, okay, some plot line's happening that threatens House's like license or sending him to prison or something. And then all of a sudden, like, it's been I've had it in this season. There was the police officer who was out to get him, and then all of a sudden it kind of just went away. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, okay, and they even make a point of it. It's like at the end of it, it's like, so nothing's actually changed. You're still practicing medicine. You've still got a Vicodin addiction. Nothing. There's no real development in anything. And House just kind of laughs at that. It's like,
yeah. Yeah, they suffer from lazy writing for a good chunk of it, and I think that's just typical American show though. I think that you've got to appeal to the American audience when you're writing something like that. Mm-hmm. And the American audience need everything to be A-okay in the end. You know, they don't want to have to actually wrap their head around something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they want to be confused in some aspects because they want that medical confusion, which most times is just a load of jargon that they've strung together. But then at the end of it, they want it all to be fine.
Oh, I love.
Yeah.
So have you guys watched Futurama? Because that's a brilliant episode where they make fun of this. It's the one about. So it's I think it's season 1. It's the first appearance of like the aliens from Omicron Persei 8, where it's about Fry before he got sent to the future. Wrecked a TV station, so the end of this series called Single Female Lawyer didn't air, and these aliens were obsessed with it, and when they watched it. And so it just a whole string of things happen, and they end up having to make up the ending for this show and film it. But they one of the characters ad-libs to try and make it interesting, and the aliens hate it because she tries to make the show compelling and dramatic and have some irony in it.
Substance.
Yeah, and Fry is just like, no, that's not why people watch TV. They don't want things that are new or scary. So in the end, he has to rewrite the ending, and it's just literally, again, she tried to make it different, and then immediately Fry's like, nope, everything is back to normal, and it's back how it always was.
Yeah, I think it's very much very much a causality and a consequence of the fact that these series are made mainly for TV.
Yeah.
So a lot of people do not want to, like, they'll try to tune in every week when a new episode airs. Mm-hmm. But if they miss an episode, they do not want to just have missed an episode, and therefore they're completely out of the loop of what's happening. They have missed a load of really important content. I mean, a lot of these are made just so people can tune in for a couple of episodes, watch them, and still understand the overarching plot.
Yeah, that sort of format worked well when it was back in the time where you'd watch one episode a week, get on with your life, watch another episode next week, sort of thing. But now we've got such a binge culture around TV shows, so a lot of old TV shows don't work when you're trying to binge them.
Definitely. Look
at that whole like remembering what happened previously, or like remembering what happened before the break, is there to help people catch up who have only just tuned in on the TV show.
Yeah,
you know, it's redundant when you're watching it on PC, because I just sat through and watched the first half of this program. I know that you've had an advertising break, but I still remember what's going on.
But stuff like a lot of shows Netflix make, or any sort of streaming service make themselves, you don't find the same problem of things don't often go back to the way they were to start like each episode. There are cliffhangers, and the plot keeps developing each and every episode because they're expecting people to watch loads in a row.
Well, if you look, for example, at RuPaul's Drag Race, you can immediately tell the difference in the older seasons, when it still used to air on wherever it aired. I can't remember.
No, I can't either.
They used to have in the middle, as you were saying, Violet, these the catch-up things. So there, you know when there was an ad break, even though there wouldn't be one on Netflix. But you know when there was an ad break because they'd always summarize the thing in the middle. Whilst they've stopped doing it in the new episodes, the ones that are made by Netflix, because Drag Race now for the last 2 seasons, I think, has been on Netflix, so like produced by Netflix.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can immediately tell the difference. But they still have kept in last week's episode or in next week's episode, because it's still
that works, especially with how Netflix did Drag Races, because
it was a weekly thing.
Yeah, they did the weekly thing again, but it was very much a good mix of you could watch this weekly or you could binge this, rather than a lot of shows were designed for the time. Once a week.
Also, you get away with it with the reality shows.
Yeah.
I feel like reality shows for example, I'm watching right now Hell's Kitchen.
Okay.
I don't know if it's the latest season of Hell's Kitchen. I'm watching season 15 just because I was bored and I thought, why not? I'm a big simp for Gordon Ramsay.
Oh, I love Gordon Ramsay.
I love his videos.
Shout at me any day.
I love his videos on YouTube. All his small recipes where he's just like, yeah, beautiful. Oh yeah, tenderize it. Oh,
I've never watched Hell's Kitchen. I've seen on Facebook a lot of clips from the shows where he goes to like failing restaurants and stuff.
Oh, Kitchen Nightmares.
Kitchen Nightmares.
I love.
And also he did Hotel Hell.
The concept of it just makes me laugh, because every episode these people have clearly sought him out and been like, come and help us. He's like, okay, here are the problems. They're like, screw you for saying we have a problem.
Literally.
And it's like, but you literally called me here to show you where you're going wrong. I have shown you very explicitly where you're going wrong, and now you're having a go at me.
It's
If you want something like that, watch the British series, because it originally was a British show before it got taken over to America, and so there you actually get restaurants that actually care. A lot of the time. I mean, there are a couple that still do the whole of being obtuse and obstructive and not listening. Yeah, that what I'm doing is best. There's still obviously that aspect of it with some of them, but you get others that like, I can't remember the name, but there was this really nice soul food restaurant.
Oh yeah, the
and
soul
it was
food
one of the very few ones where he's cleared his plate and he's like, that was honestly so good.
Yeah.
Presentation was awful, your location is awful, and these are the reasons that I think you need to change,
Okay. I mean, it's terrible, but I also find the American one really funny.
Oh, it's so much fun. It's so much fun because
watching them cry.
In every episode, it's always the same thing. All the owners always have the same issue. They're always in denial. If an owner is also the head chef, he'll go in and they'll always record them saying, I don't know what my problem is. It's the food is great. He's gonna love the food. Our food is 10 out of 10. And he's like, it's fucking shite. It's like a wet sock.
I wouldn't feed this to my dog.
You look at the like kitchens and stuff, and you wondering like, do they genuinely not understand what the problem is? Like, there's a dead rat in the corner. Do they not see that that's maybe an issue?
Honestly, if you think about, I've seen, having visited a lot of student halls, some of them are revolting. Like, think about the shittier student halls that are university, Ginja.
Yeah,
some of them, like, and how some people kept them.
Oh yeah, I know.
Some of them are truly revolting, and for a lot of these people that go on Kitchen Nightmares are people that haven't gone to culinary school, and haven't trained as professional chefs, and therefore to them it's normal to keep.
The thing is, though, that as someone who has worked in a kitchen, you can do all of that stuff online. It's so accessible.
Yeah.
Your health and safety is all done online. You get it taught to you on online. You know, you can do it in a couple days and get that health and you can get that certificate. You know, and it shows you everything. You get so many resources available to you. Like in this day and age, there's no excuses.
Yeah.
Because everywhere is so accessible. I mean, yes, back in I don't know,
2010,
like about 40 years ago, when the way that you could like only open a restaurant, but you know, you didn't have the internet to be able to help you learn everything.
Yeah.
Then that's understandable having a state like that. But I say understandable, it's more understandable, but it's not ever, you know.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I feel like a lot of the time, well, that's another pattern you see on the series, that all the owners are usually either the sons of the old owner who have run the restaurant to the ground because they have no idea how to run a restaurant, or either they're just older people who have opened something without actually any training, like without even bothering to look on the internet because they think, oh, this is going to be easy. It's a restaurant. What does it take to run a restaurant?
Yeah.
When instead running a restaurant is really, really hard. Like
Oh yeah, it's so hard.
You need to be
honestly,
so committed. It's mad. I've never worked in one, and well, I've waited at some tables, but I've never properly worked in the kitchen. So
working in a kitchen was one of the best work experiences I've had, mainly because of the teamwork and the camaraderie in the kitchen. You become so close with them because you have to be so connected. You have to move as one fluid motion of water with everyone in there. You can't, especially, I worked in a tiny kitchen, but there were still 8 of us in there and we were doing 1,000 covers a day.
Yeah.
It was insanely busy, but you get into that flow and, you know, you barely even have to communicate with everyone because you each know what everyone's doing. And I've learned so much from working in a kitchen, but seeing how a lot of the people, I'm going to let you in on a little secret here from the kitchens. To get a level 5 cleanliness, you don't even have to be that clean.
Yeah.
Because the state of the kitchen that I worked in, I would say medium. It wasn't exactly spotless, but it wasn't as bad as you see on Kitchen Nightmares. But there was still obviously massive faults and massive dirty areas, but we still managed to get a 5-star hygiene rating every single time. So if you go to a restaurant and they've got lower than a 5, there is no excuse. It's so difficult to get lower than a 5. So you've got to have something seriously wrong. So don't ever eat at a restaurant that's got lower than 5.
I mean, it's really funny because when I went to visit my girlfriend's hometown, she took me to like this. Well, we didn't actually go there, but she showed me like this chippy shop, like this fish and chip shop, and apparently she told me that place is famous because it has a 2 food hygiene rating.
Oh God!
And she told me, me and my friends and everyone from the school used to go there every day. Well, not every day, but
they explain so much about that.
What the hell? Why would you ever get a burger from there? And she was like, no, I'd never get burgers, but definitely chips. But she knew of people who got burgers, and I'm like, that's like gambling with your intestine.
To get a 2, you have to have evidence of things like animal droppings in the food preparation areas.
Oh God!
That is one of the things that will put you down to a 2.
I would never go anywhere sober that's less than a 5. While drunk, maybe a 4.
Maybe a 4.
Yeah.
Wait, Bo, the one near the club we always go to, what's that rating?
Salt and pepper.
Yeah.
Which is not anymore called that.
Oh, is
funnily
it not?
enough. No.
It changed. Oh.
They've changed it. It has a way less creative name. Anyway, that one, I have no idea. I imagine not
I
very
hope
high.
I hope it's good, but I
let
don't
me
know.
actually Google it.
Okay.
Keep talking about something. But yeah, no. Anyway, it is ridiculous though how some of the stuff they just keep in the kitchen nightmares. I love it when he's just so revolted.
I love watching him go and throw up because it's like,
Yeah.
oh yes, I would be throwing up as well.
It's just so. It's just
Like,
so
you see the
funny.
state of the meat, and it's like, oh.
The meat, I love it every time. What do we have here?
I've seen the ones where it's like he's got things
next to
like
It's
raw
green.
clams
It's
defrosting,
grim.
clams defrosting in the sink where they also got washing up right next to it.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
It's disgusting.
But no,
Have you seen that JonTron work safety video where it's about like it's about working in the kitchen, and the danger zone? It makes comedy out of all of the things that you see in kitchen nightmares as well, because you can go down the list, you can just tick off. There's a mental checklist that you have to do whenever you enter and leave the kitchen. And I had to actually stop watching Kitchen Nightmares because I used to do it after I came back from work to make me feel better about the state of about my own kitchen, and I had to stop doing it because I was like, right, I'm sitting here doing the checklist, and it's making me sad how few things I'm checking off here.
So I've checked, Ginja,
Yeah.
and the place is 4 actually.
Okay, that's good.
If it's
sticks
been
with
open for so long, to be fair, and it's such a busy place, I imagine.
It sticks to my philosophy. Like, that's the thing. When I've ever been in there, even if it's drunk, it never looks actually that untidy. Given that it's open.
It's a
right
fish and
next-
chip shop.
It's open right next to a bunch of clubs.
Yeah.
Given how
like
tiny
4
it
clubs.
Yeah, and it's within walking distance of about every single other club.
Oh yeah, and when we say next, it's literally like you take 2 steps and you're there.
Yeah.
That's a prime spot
Oh,
for
yeah,
any
yeah.
It's
takeaway.
perfect.
And that's why it's like the monopoly there, because it's a huge place and everyone just goes there.
It's right next to the bus stop as well.
Also, yeah, next to the bus.
the
It's such a
uni.
smart position.
And yeah, most when we ever go out, we tend to avoid it and go to McDonald's because it's so busy.
Mackie D's. Well, I never go to Mackie D's. Well, I never go to any of these places usually.
I'll go wherever everyone else is going usually.
Yeah.
I'd rather stick with salt and pepper because I'm like, I want to get my food and then go home. I don't want to walk 15 minutes to get food, then walk about another 10 to get to the other bus stop. And it's just like, it's 3:00 in the morning. I want to go home.
Lol.
Just have food at home. I keep some potato waffles, bang them down in the toaster. Pour yourself a couple pints of water to down, and then eat your toasted waffles and go to bed.
I literally
Also
just
true.
do with the water, because you know what the trick is. The best thing to have is bread, in my opinion. If you have bread,
Yeah, you need something really carby.
Yeah, that will soak up all the water. If you really want to
Although
have
fat
something...
is good for it though.
What?
Having lots of fat is actually good for settling your stomach because it does provide a layer that stops the acid from hitting your esophagus, making you feel sick. So there is a scientific reason why
Okay.
having fatty foods like chips and other deep fried things is a good thing after a night out.
Is it all the grease in it?
Yeah.
It creates that.
Yeah,
nice-
the grease like forms a layer on top of your acid. So like your stomach's filled with acid, the grease then forms a layer on top of it. So then when your stomach starts churning, instead of like the acid hitting your esophagus and making you feel sick, it's the grease and the
Ooh.
fats. So then it doesn't make you feel sick.
Sounds lovely.
Sounds great.
Mhm.
It's making me hungry.
Well, I know very well of the grease layering. It's the thing you immediately see whenever you enter any gaming shop.
Wow. Okay.
Mm.
Oh, come on. We've all experienced it. Whenever you enter... Don't lie. Whenever you enter any gaming shop that has board games,
Yeah, board games
Or
and video games.
even worse,
dare I
an
say.
esports cafe. I used to go back
Okay.
to this
Oh.
esports cafe in Milan. My God. Sometimes you'd go to so it was bottom floor was like the bar area. So they'd have like the counter and all the tables and you could eat. And that was lovely. You go upstairs to the first floor where they'd have all the computers, and my God, you'd enter there, there was that hit by this woof of sweat and mixture of sweat and grease. It was delightful. Still a lovely place.
That's why I could never hang around, like, as much as I loved board games and games as a kid, that's why I could never hang around those places, because it made me feel too gross.
You just get,
you know, and I didn't want to be associated with that. I didn't want other people to think that I was that
Exactly,
gross.
exactly. Absolutely. I so totally agree. So for example, I go to a lot of conventions. Mainly I go every year to the biggest one in Italy. And a lot of the time there, it's so easy to distinguish the people. Because I always go in cosplay. And it's so much fun because you see the other people who do good cosplays like you. And of course, all of them are really like careful people, really clean. Because of course, to be a cosplayer, well, first of all, you need to be clean. But also, like, you need to be a very, like, that mentality of person. Because making a cosplay is a lot of work.
Oh yeah, there's so much effort put into it.
There is so much effort.
You want to do something
it's so
good and
hard.
accurate. It's a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you want to do... Like, I've never delved into something super good and super accurate just because... Or, like, nothing from video games, just because it's so much work. Like, you need to know how to work either foam or modeling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I had to work with foam when I did a pretty serious Loki cosplay.
Okay.
And that was fun, and it was fun learning how to do it. But oh my God, I didn't wear a mask like the first time I did it, and the next day I had a rash all around my mouth and I was coughing my lungs up, and I was like, right, I've learned from this. I need to wear a face mask.
Oh yeah.
We all do these days.
Well, yeah, we're nothing different from
True.
these days, but no, like you can tell. Anyway, I was saying about the conventions. You can so tell the different people. Like, you have all these poor cosplayers, and there's all these people. Can I take a picture with you? And you're like, sure, just stay 5 feet away from me. Like, I don't say it, of course. Luckily, the cosplays I do not usually well. I do, the ones I've done are mainly historic stuff, either historic or like Sherlock Holmes. So a lot of people that I have attracted my fair share of weirdos.
Oh yeah,
to be fair, you would do it. I can imagine you doing your Sherlock Holmes one. People want to take your photo.
Yeah, you've seen a few pictures already.
Yeah,
quite a few people took pictures. Look, you get some really cool people who appreciate it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. So many good details. Very well done. And you're like, that is super satisfying. But also there's the people who want to shake your hand. The people who, luckily the main one I do, I have two things in my hand. So if they ask me, can I shake your hand? I'm like, no. Well, they don't, because I have two things in my hand.
Yeah.
But,
I tend to go for really low effort cosplay. So, though the thing is, it's low effort, but I always think it works quite well. My favorite one,
your Tony Stark one.
Oh yeah, so it's like it's low effort, but I've got that one those little details in it that makes it come together quite nicely.
Yeah.
My favorite one I did, which was for a convention, which was generic Nostromo crew member, Nostromo from the Alien series.
Yeah.
So I had the Nostromo crew shirt, and I had a plushy face hugger that I stuck, that I had an elastic band. It just clung to my face. So I was like, it's low effort, but it's actually, I think it's quite clever.
That's fun, yeah.
Yeah, that's cute. I like that.
A lot of the time I appreciate having gone, like, I've been going to this convention. So it's called the Lucca Comics and Games in Italy. Mm-hmm. And like the third world largest convention, like comics and game convention. And having gone to it for I did 5 years. I skipped this year for obvious reasons. Well, because it wasn't mine. But I found that in my first 2 years, I just took pictures with everything. Like with every cosplay, I was like, minimally interested in, because I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. Because you get, the first time you go, you get that high of like, oh my god, these are all people like me who enjoy video games and like dressing up like me.
Yeah.
But then, like, in the later year, I found myself just taking pictures with really like funny cosplays or like really out of the box stuff. For example, I remember this one. It was just this guy dressed as Death, and he had on loop on a pair of like stereo, or like on a stereo in his costume, the epic sax guy theme, and he was just bopping his head, and he was holding a list of like famous people. So like top of the list was like Queen Elizabeth, followed by Sean Bean, Kenny from South. It was so fun. Guys, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just went all quiet for a while. I was like, wait a second, did I
No,
tune
we can
out?
still hear you, don't worry.
Cool.
I got distracted by memes.
That's fair enough.
Oh, okay. I was just I too like to cosplay, and I think I've had some not so good experiences, mainly because as a female, as a female, you get those guys being creepy. And you see, I went as a 14, 15, 16-year-old.
Yeah.
And they don't, you don't know whether they realise, and if they do realise, then it's creepy. It's even more creepy.
Creepier,
It's
yeah.
creepy either way.
Yeah, like so I've been really put off the actual going to conventions, mainly because of the other people that I've experienced there, and I absolutely loved it. I loved going there, and I loved seeing all the effort that people put in, and I love watching the actors talk about everything.
Yeah.
But it was just those pervs that come up, and they will like go to hug you, or they'll go to touch you, and it's not like I was wearing anything revealing either. I was in a Loki cosplay.
Oh, okay.
I was doing a whilst admittedly femme, it was still
just a slight gender bend.
Yeah, it was a slight gender bend, mainly because I didn't want to have to bind.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yes, but it was still the full. I think it was Dark World. It was more Dark World.
Yeah.
That Loki.
Did you have the horn?
Yeah, I had the horns. I had the staff.
Oh, okay.
I had. I think I also at one point had the Tesseract, and the mouth guard.
Oh, that's cool.
The
Okay, yeah.
For that was for one of them. The amount of comments that mouth and the wrist binds as well. The amount of comments that I got from creepy men is
yeah.
Really?
something I will never forget. Yeah,
Oh.
it was very very. I can't think of a good way to describe it. They were being pervy over the fact that I was captive.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay. I blame the incels.
Mm-hmm. So there's that massive culture around.
Yeah, that's a big thing. I agree. I think especially in cosplay culture, it's especially for women. Like, it must be really annoying. I get annoyed. So the cosplay I usually do, I do a historical one of like a really famous guy from Italian history, but he's also considered. A lot of people don't like him because he's the guy who unified Italy, and I've gotten a lot of comments being like, admittedly, a lot of mean ones of just people either insulting me just because of what I'm dressed as. And no, I mean, and that can't even compare to people being creepy, because that's even worse. But
yeah, but it's still something that is showing you how toxic the community can be.
Yeah. Ultimately, I absolutely, definitely, I agree, and it's sad that you get stuff like that. But in the end, the thing that keeps me cosplaying is just the amount of like people complimenting you and saying, "Oh my God, you look so cool. Can we take a picture?" That's so nice. That when they spot you and they say, "Oh, this is such a smart idea," or "It's so well done," it's so satisfying and gratifying that you think, at least in my opinion, I'll power through the people who are just being jerks. Oh, admittedly, I don't get many. They're just occasional.
The worst I got insulted by an 8-year-old girl.
Wow.
I was ridiculous. I think it was some sort of, I did something Doctor Who related. I had 11 screwdriver, and she sort of came over while I was sort of sitting outside, and she seemed really interested. And I think she was dressed up as Clara.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, she likes Doctor Who. So I actually had bought 10 screwdriver as well. So I bought the other screwdriver out as well. And I think she was quoting one of the lines from like the anniversary. But she literally looks me dead in the eye, just like compensating for something, and then ran off. And I was just like, I just got completely owned by a small child, and I didn't even get the chance to react.
I mean, that is hilarious, though.
I know. I thought
that is, yeah,
like it.
that is. Oh boy, it's when you get those fun things, that's just, I don't know. I feel like it makes the entire thing worth it, and you think,
I thought.
Are you working on any cosplays at the moment?
No, at the moment. Well, I was working. What I was planning to do this year was to go as Zorro from Zorro.
Yeah.
Not the One Piece one, the
original.
the Mexican bandit. And because in Italy he is huge, like it's the thing all children watch as children. I feel quite. All children watch as children. Quote me on that. That's how you use. That's how you use the English language. Yeah. It's what you watch as a child.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. A lot in Italy, and so I was working. I wanted to do like a proper one with like proper leather boots, proper like good quality cape, and make it like very historically
accurate. A real sword
accurate.
to stab your enemies.
What?
A real sword to stab.
A real
your enemies.
rapier, yeah. Which I actually do own, but they never let me into the convention with one.
Oh yeah, of course. They'd never let you in.
Well, it's interesting because I've managed to bring in a real sword to a convention. Admittedly, it was only an old one and it was stuck in its sheath. But it was a real metal. Only like a parade sword. But because this one in Italy is outside in the open, a lot of the time the police is very lax on the rules. So essentially it takes place in the center of a small city in Italy. So a lot of the time they will let you bring these more realistic like metal weapons, as long as of course they're not sharp and don't have a pointed tip. So when compared to, for example, when I went to what's it called, MCM Comic Con in London.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're very strict there. Like
I wasn't allowed to take in my staff there.
Really?
And it's like, touch it. It's not sharp at all. And he's like, yeah, no, it's the stick. And I was like, it's a broom handle that I have taped and painted and put modeling clay on.
Yeah.
And it's like,
oh,
no,
so
it
wasn't even a metal point.
No, it was so I'd got a wooden broom handle or mop handle or whatever, and I covered it in tape, and to do the shaping of the staff I'd put modelling clay over it, hardened that in the sun, and then so after carving all the details into it, and then I'd put I'd cut out the top out of wall insulation and sanded it down and then primed it and painted it and all that, and put it on, and then a glass. It wasn't even glass. It was plastic, blue plastic in the top for the bit, and it was that wasn't allowed in, so I had to get my mum to take it.
Like they're, to be fair, on a lot of things, I think they're a bit too strict. You literally can only have foam weapons, which is fine. I mean, I'm not saying, especially because it's in an enclosed area, real weapons would be a bit.
The thing is, it's not so much they're worried you're going to go ahead and stab someone. With a real weapon, it's the worry that someone's just going to bump into you and get injured more than anything, probably.
Yeah, and probably that would look really bad on the.
Yeah. I mean, I've gone to one in where I live, which isn't that big a place, and that was jam packed. And I imagine like somewhere like a London Comic Con, you're also crammed in.
They're quite
and someone
crammed,
could get impaled.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. It's not super crammed just because I went there 3 years ago, and I remember it being quite not super jam packed because it was just such a big venue.
The venue's huge, and there's so many rooms.
Yeah. But still, it is really a bit. Some areas can be very cramped. The events on stage, or like when they have all the people like watching the talks or whatever, they can get very cramped. So yeah, I remember the best cosplay I saw that year was just this guy dressed as Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z, and he was just walking around with a what do you call them? With a waifu pillow.
Oh goodness, yeah.
And it was a waifu pillow of Goku, of course.
Of course.
And when you just commented, it was just like, it's not what it looks like. It was so funny. I remember that cosplay just shook me. Like, that's genius. But yeah, I miss conventions.
Hopefully we'll get back to them eventually.
Soon. If they get the vaccine out soon, it'll be hopefully.
Yeah, I think we've missed the ones that happen in March, so we just got to hope for the ones that happen in October and November next year.
Oh yeah, because they've already probably missed the ones this year. Definitely. So.
Oh yeah, the ones that happened this year all happened in October and November.
Oh yeah, that's true, because MCM is that's in November. Yeah. Okay, well, I think we've clocked in. Not too bad. We didn't go over like an hour, and just over an hour. So yeah.
Oh, I must have started my timer much earlier because mine says like an hour and 10 minutes.
Well, mine is an hour and 8 minutes, but it's probably an hour and 6.
Yeah, close enough.
So yeah, this was fun. Thank you very much for joining us, Violet.
Thank you so much for having me.
And once again, check out her Twitch page, twitch.tv/Violetlilac, and of course, Ginja's page, twitch.tv/Ginja Gaming. And links will be in the description. Remember, everyone, to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode of the podcast, and turn on those bell notifications. That would be really appreciated. The episodes are supposed to go out every week on Tuesday. The episode that has come out this week while we're recording was a day late. Apologies. And apart from that, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.